I would like to call to order the Pasco County Board of County Commission 10 o'clock a.m. meeting of May 17th. At this time, please silence all your electronic devices and mute your microphones if you're at home. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes. District 1, Commissioner Oakley. District 2, Commissioner Moore.
Here.
District 4, Commissioner Fitzpatrick. Here. District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Here.
District 3, Chairman Starkey.
Here. Partially. Okay. Now's the time for public comment. Citizens are given an opportunity to comment on any current or future agenda item coming before the board and on other business under the board's purview. Today's public comment will be handled as follows. First, we will take public comment from those who are here in person. Then we will take public comment from those who have pre-registered for a WebEx link and are currently on queue. We request that when you address the board, comments are not directed personally against a commissioner or team member, but rather directed at the issues. This provides mutual respect between board members and the public. After stating your name and address for the clerk, a 3-minute timer will be activated, and after 2 minutes, a single beep will indicate you have 1 minute left. When your time is up, 2 beeps will sound and you should close your comments. WebEx participants will be disconnected automatically when their time is up. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up for public comment this morning?
Yes, Madam Chair, we do have some signed up, and one person signed up via WebEx but is not online as of yet. So I'll go ahead and call the first person signed up is Wendy Ralston Burris. Hi. Hello. Once you reach the podium, if you could state your name and address for the record, and then you can begin your comments.
All right, I am homeless. My address is Pasco County, and my name is Wendy Ralston Burris.
Thank you. You may begin.
I am Wendy Burris, and I'm a resident of Pasco County. I'm a voter, and I'm homeless and disabled citizen of this country. I attend Pasco Hernando State College full-time. How is it possible Pasco County has a housing crisis? Answers could be the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Homeless need to disappear or be jailed. And then we always have rental gouging in Pasco County. God has blessed me with St. Vincent de Paul, who has housed me in a hotel while my housing is trying to be established. But hotel housing is not the answer. Pasco County is one of the largest counties in Florida. Surely this county must own property to help accommodate humans with disabilities and handicaps. I get SSDI. My monthly check is $920. I can't afford housing in Pasco County. Why is there only one coalition for the homeless in Pasco, and the coalition is located in Zephyr Hills? The public bus doesn't even run there. But that's another meeting. Section 8 and HUD housing are not even able to be found and rented in Pasco County. A slice of paradise, except if you are homeless. This Board of County Commissioners has decided that he or she is above the Supreme Court and God's law. The Supreme Court has ruled panhandling to be legal. This Board of County Commissioners even run the jail. Sheriff Naco needed more funding from Pasco County, but denied. The county commissioners even threatened the citizens with jail or fines for aiding and helping the poor humans of Pasco County. If a resident helps a human in need, it's punishment, and it's undemocratic. On Friday night, a 75-year-old was put out on the streets by her choice. Her choice by St. Vincent de Paul was a nursing home or nothing. She chose nothing. Pasco County, a slice of paradise if you are wealthy. But if you are poor, there's not even a homeless or emergency shelter. Baker Acts and jails are utilized instead. The poor or homeless class of humans in Pasco County have 30 human and civil rights. The right to shelter, the right to privacy, and the right just to be free are only a few examples. Pasco County Commissioners are not providing for certain types of humans that reside in the county and in each city in the county. Every city, such as Holiday, need accommodations for the poor citizen. The old Firehouse 12 on Mile Stretch is empty. The building's not being utilized. A great place for underprivileged to shower, to wash clothes, and to use the bathroom and to shave. The county of Pasco, I don't understand it all because my voter's card is registered to downtown Port Richey. It's a building, and I have a mayor for a building, and I have a chief of police for a building. I can't find a downtown or a reason for a mayor or a reason for a chief of police. If this current group of commissioners abolished Port Richey, the county could accommodate the lower class citizens and voters, the humans, with the county-owned property in Port Richey being utilized to accommodate the lower class humans and citizens. This would ease many poor citizens and help to attain some of the 30 human needs. The voters' right to shelter, the voters' right to be free.
Thank you very much.
I'm asking this group to put themselves in a homeless person's shoes.
Kathy, do we have anyone here that can, because there were some things there that were not correct, so we want to help you. So if you can go out back, we can get some of that straightened out. Okay. Next.
Next individual signed up, Dr. Octavio Blanco.
Hello, Dr. Octavio Blanco, 16543 State Road 54, Lutz 33558. I'm trying to get through a lot of things in a few minutes. I'm going to start out by saying the prayer that we started this with gave me an idea of really what I really am, because I'm a veterinarian. I've had to take on hats as a lawyer, negotiator over the years, many different occasions. But really what I really am is a steward. And we asked about being faithful stewards. That's what I've tried to be with our place since we came in 1958. I've tried to take care of the place. Back then, between 41 and Gun on 54, it was all farmers, dairy. We knew everybody. That's how it was. Not that way no more. I'm the last one left. I'm essentially like a unicorn because people keep throwing money at them and they'll say, "Why won't you take it?" I say, "Well, I'm taking care of my place. I'm trying to do what's best." Well, take the money. Oh, I haven't done it. Okay. So anyway, what's been happening, and I know I read the story about the fellow from the Metropolitan Commission that came out and spoke to you a couple weeks, the last meeting, about what we have to do here to deal with people leaving the county to work every day and the employment centers and everything. And so it reminded me that actually I invented employment centers probably 20 years ago, talking to John Gallagher and Steve Simon for quite some time, saying, look, we have to do something to bring jobs here. We can't keep people leaving the area and that sort of thing. And so it took a while. We finally got it done. And then I proceeded to work with a neighbor at the time, Doug Weiland, to get a DRI done on the whole property. And we got this huge project done, had 700,000 square feet, office towers, my place, and all this sort of thing. Then there's an economic crash, and everything went away. So I've continued working on it. And what I've really been trying to do is, sure, increase the economic situation of Pasco, but also protect the natural resources. My place is half pretty much developable and half woods and swamps, and I'm trying to do both. So back when the county commission hired Urban Land Institute,
Keep going.
okay, to do this study about where to put these places and all, they looked at mine as being the #1 site because of its location, proximity to the airport. So I could tell I needed some help, so probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, I started working with my old classmate from high school, Dewey Mitchell, and trying to meet with state officials, try to get big companies to come here, things like that. Hasn't worked out. So here's where we are right now. The offers keep pouring in. There's a reason there's so much multifamily, because they pay crazy amounts of money all the time. And so I would still prefer to have my place be 100% jobs, 0 multifamily, but even from what I understand about the requirements today, there's a 20% requirement for multifamily, even on the best employment center sites. So if I have people, come in, I want to be sure that's available. If I'm wrong, tell me. But that's still my primary goal, and I still want to do that. But the money keeps being pushed at me, and I don't know what to do eventually. So there we go.
David, do you want to meet him out back? Okay. Thank you very much. Great seeing you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and you don't need to put multifamily on the employment side. He'll explain that to you.
Okay. Next.
Next is Pastor Troy Peterson.
Good morning, Commissioners. Troy Peterson, Somebody Cares, Pasco Hernando, 8114 Leo Kidd, Port Richey, Florida. First off, I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for recognizing May 5th for the National Day of Prayer. It's been a real blessing. I've been here 6 years, and I believe for the last 20-plus years, Somebody Cares Pasco has been heading up National Day of Prayer right out here, praying for our governmental leaders, praying for our cities, praying for Pasco County. Now, I've been coming here for about a year, and the Lord spoke to me. And what I recognize is you commissioners really want to see Pasco great. Many in this great nation, ministers of the gospel, recognize Pasco County as a hub for revival. Now think about that, as a hub for revival. Because the Word of God says, in them last days I will pour out my Spirit on all flesh. And so we're getting ready to move into a great awakening. We see the world is going like chaos all around us. And I believe wholeheartedly, if you commissioners would allow the Somebody Cares pastors to come in and lead in the invocation and pray in Jesus' name, God will bless Pasco County. I want to just share a brief scripture in Acts chapter 4. Now, mind you, this is after the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Peter is preaching to the multitudes. He's preaching to some of the very ones that crucified Jesus. And they're telling him, no, you can't pray in Jesus' name. No, you can't lay hands on the sick. You can't preach Jesus Christ resurrected from the dead. And this is his response. He says, and there is salvation in no one else. There is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. So I'm here to tell you that if we would recognize Jesus Christ in the invocation and the prayer like we are in some of the other cities, God will honor that. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Thank you. Next person signed up is Patricia Shade.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Patricia Shade. I'm a homeowner in District 5, and I reside at 13426 Chicago Ave, Hudson, Florida, 34669, and I'm a local realtor under the brokerage of Caldwell Banker, F.I. Gray & Son. I first want to thank each of you. You hold a position where you are often expected to put sleep and personal time on the back burner, so I just want to commend you for that. I also want to extend my appreciation for all you've done and all you will continue to do. But I think we can all agree that there's always going to be more we can get done. So just recently, I had the opportunity to visit a few homeless camps in my district with Commissioner Mariano. The sites were much larger than I ever envisioned, and the conditions much worse than I could have imagined. So I just want to, thank you for allowing me that opportunity to see that firsthand. This concern for the homeless and the areas that they take claim to is just one action item that of many that the committee, West Market Action Committee, has discussed. It takes dedication, hard work, time, collaboration, individuals to step up if we can find positive solutions with successful outcomes. I come before you as a committee member of West Market. I'll call it WMAC for the sake of time. Our committee members come from all walks of life, contributing a history of community involvement, relationships, and resources, ready, with your support, of course, to become the collective voice for the residents of Pasco County. Our committee members already engage with the residents of our county on an intimate level in their day-to-day professional and personal lives. If WMAC could become the point of contact for immediate, direct connections to resources the county already has in place, while collaborating with the county staff and other local organizations to bring positive solutions rather than complaints, just imagine what we could accomplish together. I know that the commission, the elected officials, county staff, local business owners, endless volunteers, and the residents all want the same thing: a safe, vibrant place to live, to provide a place where generations to come want to stay. So let's stand for a county that doesn't just say they care about the residents. Instead, let's be the county that truly supports them. So please support WMAC, the collective voice for the residents of Pasco County. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for volunteering.
Next person signed up is Patty Templeton.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Patty Templeton. My address is 5115 Muscle Shell Drive, Newport Richey, 34655. Thank you for this opportunity to speak before you. I am a 36-year resident of Newport Richey, and I'm also the executive director of a nonprofit organization called One Community Now that's been operating in Pasco County for the past 13 years. We're focused on working together, changing lives. And some of our programs you may be familiar with, we do the Pack-a-Sack program where we're feeding over 1,300 children every weekend in 37 different schools. Bless you. We also hold Operation Stand Down, where we help homeless and at-risk veterans to transition into a stable lifestyle by connecting them to the resources that we have throughout our community. Our office is located in downtown Newport Richey, where every day we are meeting with families that are struggling with homelessness and at risk of being homeless because of the lack of affordable housing in our community. Our success in helping people has been in collaborating with others. And once we identify the need that the person is facing, we make sure to work with the government agencies, local churches, other nonprofits, local businesses, and private individuals to assist the person with their long-term solutions. And that's why I'm here today. I believe in working together to change lives. I believe that the same principle applies to our community. I want to thank you for encouraging the formation of the West Market Action Committee, as I too am a member of that. And I believe that there we can work together to identify some of the different strengths and weaknesses within our community on the West Market. So we understand our community is a big community and that there's a lot of focus on growth and new development throughout our county. But that's why the West Market Action Committee is so important, that we have a diverse group of people who represent our county on the West Market there and come from all walks of life, and that they're willing to come together. They're volunteering their time to look at these issues and to talk with the different citizens in the community to discover what are our strengths, what's our weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. Then come up with solutions that address many of the needs that are growing in our community, and we can present these back to you through well-thought-out solutions. My former pastor, Greg Johnson, always shared a Maasai proverb with us that basically said, all knowledge is not in one head. That is the principle that I want to follow with the West Market Action Committee, and that we take the time to gather the knowledge of all the different members of the community. I hope you will continue to encourage and support the formation of this group and allow us to come back and present ideas and solutions for the West Market. Thank you.
Thanks, Patty.
All right, the last person signed up is Stephen Akel, or Akel.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak that has not signed up? And if so, please line up in the middle. No one else here wishes to address? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, excuse me. My name is, I apologize. My name is Steve Akel. I'm a representative with the International Association of Firefighters, Local 4420. My address is protected. Anything else?
Yep, go ahead.
All righty. Good morning. My name is Steve, and I like to go to fires and car accidents and calls for service. I never want to see any harm come to anyone. However, when smoke fills your hallway, glass litters the road, or you or your child have that unexpected emergency at 2 a.m., myself and 600 of my brothers and sisters race to be the ones to save you in your emergency. And we train day and night to do so, because that is what we are paid to do, and we take pride in that. Our biggest concern at this moment is our citizens, the people that we serve. And today, we are here not for us, but in support of them. The question of will the fire truck or ambulance be available? And if so, will they, despite their best effort, be close enough to get to you in time is not a question we want anyone to have to ask. We know stations are long overdue. I've heard it discussed more times than I'd like. How many new stations do we have? The answer given in this room has been 2 new stations. The forecasted answer is 1 new and 1 rebuild. However, the real answer, as of today, is 0. And now the 2 new stations that should have been completed years ago are delayed yet again due to crews walking off the job. while the neighborhoods continue to fly up around us. Ambulances and stations need to be prioritized. Approving stuff that is discussed prior to these meetings, like cyano kits, is greatly appreciated. Excuse me. However, approving boots for new firefighters at BOCC meetings is not premier. Those are minimum mandatory things to do the job. It is this lack of support that has been a contributing factor to losing 50 firefighters averaging 5.5 years of service to other departments. Experienced firefighters are leaving from overutilization, undercompensation, and the feeling of no help in sight from the commission. We are losing experienced rescuers while trying to replace them with new ones and losing those people also. Another issue with underfunding is that we are hiring 5 times more new hires to try and replace the ones that we're losing and trying to train a larger department to keep up with growth, all while the training budget hasn't been increased in years and the current training building is in shambles and nearly condemned. It is long overdue that we start making real change to actually be premier rather than just a slogan, and quickly before we lose the opportunity and people to do so. We all know the numbers are out there. By not fixing these issues, you are failing our people and not fulfilling your purpose. However, we are willing to work with you to fix the performance. We are striving to give our citizens premier, but we need your support. We can't have a champagne premier taste on a beer budget. Please prioritize our citizens by prioritizing and adequately funding your firefighters so that we can do what we are trained to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so no one else lined up to speak here. Do we have anyone online?
We had someone sign up to register it online, but they are not connected.
Okay, then we will close public comment, and I will move on to the consent agenda. Oh, no, resolutions. I'm sorry, resolutions. Okay.
Okay. All right. Is anyone here for Water Reuse Week? Great. If you could step up to the podium, please, and I will read the resolution.
Morning.
Good
Chairman
morning.
Starkey, members of the board. Jason Mickle, Director Utilities, Operations and Maintenance. That's Chris Picardi. He's our reclaim supervisor. We just wanted to stop in today and say thank you for all your support over the years. Quick fact, the Southwest Florida Water Management District 16 county region has named Pasco County the largest residential reclaimed water system within that region. We have 24,000 residential accounts, which the good part about that, just to put it in perspective, is about 15 million gallons a day of offset of potable drinking water. So your efforts over the years.
And we have the head of Tampa Bay Water here somewhere. So.
Yeah, it's an excellent accomplishment to have that within our utility. That's conserved water, that's dollars saved. It's an excellent accomplishment, and this board, and as well as past boards, has supported us and made our job a lot easier. So we just wanted to say thank you and appreciate all the support. Chris?
All right, so we're going to read the, go ahead and speak, then we'll read the resolution.
Thank you as well, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. I wish I had it, but I don't. All right, you want to read the resolution?
Resolution number 22-131, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring the 3rd week of May as Water Reuse Week in Pasco County and calling upon citizens and businesses to help protect our precious water resources. Whereas water recycling is an integral part of wastewater management, water resource management, and ecosystem management in all of Florida. And whereas reused water is purified using science-based standards to meet specific needs, including environmental restoration, irrigation, industrial operations, and energy generation. And whereas there are many benefits to using reclaimed water, such as reducing potable water use, decreasing fertilizer application, reducing discharge into rivers and bays from the wastewater plants, and most importantly, ensuring a sustainable and cost-effective water supply. And whereas Florida has risen to be the nation's leader in water reuse, using 820 million gallons of reclaimed water per day to conserve fresh water supplies and replenish our rivers, streams, lakes, and aquifers. And whereas Florida's permitted reuse capacity is more than 1.8 billion gallons per day, representing approximately 70% of Florida's total permitted capacity for all domestic wastewater treatment facilities. and whereas 44% of the wastewater in our water management district is currently being reused, exceeding both the state and the national averages. And whereas Pasco County has implemented a dynamic reclaimed water program which encourages safe, efficient, and effective use of reclaimed water. And whereas Pasco County treats wastewater to public access standards more than 712 million gallons to 2 reservoirs and 11 tanks, and delivers approximately 25 million gallons per day of high-quality reclaimed water to 24,447 residents and a variety of other customers and locations. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares the third week of May 2022 as Water Reuse Week in Pasco County, and calls upon citizens and businesses to help protect our precious water resources by practicing water-saving measures and using reclaimed water in an effective and efficient manner. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting the 17th day of May 2022.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Jack, I'm not feeling well.
Okay.
So, and if Commissioner Oakley wasn't ill, I wouldn't be here. But, so I'm going to let you touch these and take these down.
All right.
You don't want me to come down there. They're right, wait, they're right here.
No, I handed them.
Oh, you
to
got it too?
Yep, these
Oh,
are yours.
mine?
That was
Okay,
Oakley's.
you get to do this one too.
Congratulations, gentlemen. You did a great job on everything, Mark. Took that all reason away. This guy's keeping us on.
Yeah, I guess. Let's just stand up.
Okay.
We'll do that up
All
there.
right, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
All right, Commissioner Moore's resolution.
Okay. Is anyone here for Older Americans Month in Pasco County? Please step up to the podium. Okay, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 22-129, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring May as Older Americans Month in Pasco County. Whereas there are more adults reaching retirement age and remaining strong and active than ever before. And whereas older Americans are a vital part of Pasco County's geographic makeup. And whereas Pasco County includes a growing number of older Americans who contribute their strength, wisdom, and experience to our community. And whereas communities benefit from people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds are welcomed, included, and supported. And whereas older adults are entitled to dignified, independent lives free from fears, myths, and misconceptions about aging. And whereas Pasco County and the Area Agency on Aging of Pasco and Pinellas recognize the need to create a community that provides services to support older Americans' needs to thrive and live independently as long as possible. And whereas every citizen in Pasco County should strive to recognize, understand, and address the evolving needs of older adults. And whereas our society is dependent upon integrational cooperation and benefits from our collective efforts to serve older adults and the people who love and care for them. And whereas Pasco County and the Area Agency of Aging of Pasco and Pinellas work together to build an even better community for our older residents by planning programs that encourage independence, ensuring activities are responsive to individual needs, and increasing access to services that support aging in place. And whereas older adults deserve to be recognized for the contributions they have made and will continue to make to the culture, economy, and character of our community and our nation. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares May as Older Americans Month and urges every resident to recognize the contributions of their older citizens, help to create an inclusive society, and join efforts to support older Americans' choices about how they age in their communities. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 17th day of May 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, passes. Congratulations. If you want to address the board, it's great seeing you.
Nice to see you too, Chair Starkey. I'd like to thank the Board of County Commissioners, in particular Christina Fitzpatrick. Commissioner Fitzpatrick sits on our board to ensure that the needs of seniors in Pasco County are being met. Last year, together with everybody standing with me,
September.
we served 67,500 seniors and made sure they did not go into nursing homes, that they were able to enjoy the beauty of Pasco and Pinellas and live lives that are safe, independent, and healthy. And I'd like to thank you very much for naming May Older Americans Month. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. All right, Commissioner Moore.
Yeah, well, quick word, and I'll just come down. We'll do the same thing.
And then
There's so
Madam
many
Chair.
people there. We'll stay behind. I had the opportunity to serve on the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, appointed by Speaker Weatherford before I was on this commission. Obviously, spent a lot of time helping to oversee the area agency for agencies on aging throughout the state of Florida. And Jim knows this. My background being in the home health industry and caring for thousands and thousands of mostly older Americans. We understand the importance of obviously everything that each and every one of you do. You know, times have changed though, right? What is an older American these days? I mean, right? I mean, seriously, what is? I mean, we think about it, you know, there's people in their 80s and 90s that are just as active as every one of us that are sitting up on this dais now. So, I mean, I have gray hair, you know, I mean, you know, I'm getting there myself, right?
It's the job.
Yeah, it's the job, right? I didn't have gray hair when I became a commissioner. Just kidding. But no, again, you know, times are different now, right? So it's hard for me to have a distinction of really what we think about as an older American is these days. Again, people are living longer. People are willing and wanting to work longer to stay active. So, you know, we appreciate everything you're doing and keep up the good work. And, you know, congratulations on everything you do. We appreciate it. And I'm going to come down and just, we'll do what
Madam
we did
Chair.
last time.
Oh, yeah, Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. As a member of the board, I really do enjoy coming to the meetings and participating. The Area Agency on Aging of Pasco Pinellas has been partnering with Pasco County for over 30 years, and together we've been able to prevent seniors going into nursing home placements. We provide home-delivered meals to seniors, activities to senior centers, transportation to doctor's visits, and also helped with utilities. We're appreciative of the funding provided by the Area Agency on Aging, Pasco Pinellas, and look forward to working together for many more years. And I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
If I could, like I say, you guys all do a phenomenal job. And Jemeth, the way you approach everybody to try to get them to help and know what the great work that's done for the seniors in this whole area and both sides of the county is just amazing. So appreciate you all.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a photo, and we'll stand up behind.
How are you doing, guys?
Oh, go ahead. Anyone else who wants to, I'm staying.
Individual, so I don't know who wants that. Here's the one with the flag.
You got two commissioners coming down.
I thought we were standing behind because there's so many people.
I said they could do whatever they want.
We need a couple over here.
No, wait, there's a space between the
Yeah, right?
All right, Ryan first and then me.
Everybody look at Ryan.
Right here, please. Thanks. All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, look at Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take
This is yours now.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right, the next resolution is in regards to Fertilizer Awareness Month. If you're here for this resolution, please step up to the podium. Okay, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 22-128, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring May as Fertilizer Awareness Month in Pasco County. Whereas many local bodies of water are experiencing raised nitrate levels, runoff from residential fertilizers can contribute to this change in water quality. And whereas when fertilizer is properly applied to a lawn, the introduced nitrogen is absorbed. However, if fertilizer is incorrectly applied, it can run off into local waters, lowering the water quality and threatening the ecosystems that depend on the water source. And whereas when it rains, excess nitrogen and phosphorus flows into our stormwater systems and eventually our local bodies of water. The excess amounts of these chemicals can cause algae blooms, lowering the oxygen level in the water and creating a substantial risk to aquatic life. And whereas residential fertilizer is a significant source of nitrogen in the Tampa Bay area, accounting for about 20% of the nitrogen carried in stormwater systems. And whereas Pasco County adopted a fertilizer ordinance which regulates the application of fertilizer within the county. And whereas the Tampa Bay area receives 60% of its average annual rainfall between June 1st and September 30th, this is when there is the greatest potential for fertilizer runoff. And whereas Tampa Bay Water approved a $10,000 grant for Keep Pasco Beautiful in conjunction with the Pasco County government. This grant funded a fertilizer education and outreach program in Pasco County to protect the region's local water sources. And whereas it is essential to educate the people of Pasco County on how to maintain a healthy lawn while only using fertilizers when safe and necessary. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares May as Fertilizer Awareness Month in Pasco County and encourages all citizens of Pasco County to join in efforts to prevent nutrient water pollution caused by improper fertilizer use. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting the 17th day of May 2022.
Move approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, welcome. If you want to say anything, please do, and then Commissioner Mariano's going to come down and give you your stuff.
Okay. First of all, thank you guys so much for giving us this resolution on behalf of Keep Pasco Beautiful. We really appreciate our partnership with you all and value it. We and our board of directors was horrified, as I know many people were, when last year we had 1,100 manatees that died. We know that they died because they were starving to death because the seagrass was polluted. So we decided to look at our area of what we could do from Pasco County's perspective to save our chubby mermaids that we all love and adore. And we're super excited to learn that we actually have really good seagrass in Pasco County. It's doing well, it's thriving. So what we decided to do was focus on maintaining that and keeping that. And improper fertilizer use, especially at the residential level, is a great threat to that. We've seen what's happened on the East Coast with the algae blooms in the Indian River Lagoon. So we love Pasco County and the paradise that it is, and this is to educate people on what they can do to have a positive impact on our environment. So thank you all so much for helping us spread the word.
Yeah, and we need your name and name for the
by
record.
the-
I don't think we need an address, right? No, just the name.
Kristen King, Keep Pasco Beautiful Coordinator. And this is Alicia Hacker. She's our past president for Keep Pasco Beautiful. And Aki is our intern from USF
Oh,
College
cool.
of Patel.
Madam Chair, can I just
Yeah.
ask, I just want to ask a question if I could. So you talked about the manatees. What about other sea life? You know, I spend a lot of time myself on the water. I mean, I'm on the water quite often in West Pasco, around Port Richey and Hudson and Newport Richey and those areas as well. And it's amazing, like you said, the sea life. Recently, on our last trip out with my family, we were doing some fishing and stuff. I can't tell you how many sea turtles we saw out there swimming. I never knew there was that many sea turtles swimming around Pasco County. I mean, they were all over the place, more than I saw in a long time. We actually saw a tiger shark.
Oh.
A tiger shark.
Wow.
Right out of Gulf Harbors.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, right by on the north side of the North Channel.
Oh, wow.
By those rocks there. It was about 6 foot. So saw a hammerhead out there not too long ago too. Big one,
There are a lot-
about
there are
10,
a lot of
12
little
foot,
ones out
swimming
there.
around. So cool. I mean, yeah, like you said, the seagrass looks like it's doing great. But like when we're talking to our citizens and people across this county, what else can we do to make sure that that's maintained? What else can we do to make sure that that seagrass stays alive?
So along with the proper fertilizer use, also looking at the different types of pesticides that you're using, it all has to do with a water quality issue, which is what we saw with that red tide that's just almost came up to us last summer, which then attributes to fish kills and everything else. One thing though that as well residents can do, we talk about fertilizer and pesticides, but another thing is marine debris, which is a huge issue. They're actually saying that if we don't change what we're doing in the next decade, for every 3 pounds of fish in our oceans, there will be 1 pound of plastic, which is awful. So one thing is to make sure that we are properly disposing of our trash. If you're out there boating, make sure that you don't have those flyaway bags and other items. Try to not use single-use plastics, and that way we can all have that positive impact on our waters that we love.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Senator Mariano.
And I'm so glad you're bringing this ordinance up, and when we adopted an ordinance many years ago, it was all to try to help with the awareness too. So this is a big moment. I want to give you two ideas to think about coming up. When we have people that live on canals, waterways, that's where it goes. And if there's grass that gets in there, it's got fertilizer on it, guess what? It's causing the pollution. If you guys have some ideas how we can work with the associations up and down the coast to go deal with that, great. The other thing I want to ask you, if you could, is try to make it to the next Tampa Bay Estuary meeting. Next one's next Friday. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different things. We're looking at expanding the estuary's reach from just inside the bays and up the Hillsborough River, so it only hits Wesley Chapel, but to go along the whole coast. If we can do a baffle box program, it can take care of sediments, 3 levels of it, so it gets like nothing when it comes out. And it's also got screens in it so they can take all the trash so it doesn't hit there as well. University of, the city of Tampa has got several of them that are working very well, and they've done them for like 20 years, improving, and they're better and better and better. And matter of fact, USF is actually studying what the results of these collections are and what the effects are going to be. So it's a time when now we're looking at doing these up and down the whole coast, and if you guys want to jump in with it, I'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually partnered with the Tampa Bay Estuary Program
Perfect.
on different things. We have a workshop that we're partnering with them, the Patel College, and that's going to take place next week on what people can do for the fertilizer awareness.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
There are communities that don't allow fertilizer during certain times of the year. I don't think we've gone that far, but.
We're actually trying to work with that too with some of our realtors, and our board of directors trying to get the word out to HOAs about what they can do for proper fertilizer use. Most people are good people and want to do the right thing. They just aren't aware of what that right thing might be. So.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Good message. All right, Jack, you'll take this down.
Well, Madam Chair, while he's walking down, remember prior to COVID, one of the things I brought up was painting the drains around the coast and stuff.
Yeah.
I think the person, unfortunately, that was going to head that up is not with the county anymore, but I think it's something we could
that'd be
look
fine.
into. And
That'd be great.
and you talked about the baffle boxes
Yeah.
and stuff too. Yeah.
Hey guys, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
One more. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Kristen, when's the next cleanup? June 8th, okay. Well, why don't you say that in the mic there, if you don't mind.
Our next cleanup is going to be June 8th. We're actually partnering with the city of Newport Richey on World Oceans Day. And then we also have our Keep Pasco Beautiful cleanup that will be September 17th, which is the 3rd Saturday of September.
Okay, all right, thank you. RS4.
RS4 is National Public Works Week. If you're here for National Public Works Week, if you could please make your way to the podium.
That's
Just a few people.
just a couple.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's what the crowd's for. Here for
Wow.
That's why we signed so many.
I'm glad it's like I asked for those ahead of time.
Yes. Commissioner Mariano's.
I thought all those people were ready for public comment earlier.
Thought so.
All right. Here we go.
Are we ready? Want me to go ahead and read it? Okay. Resolution, I'm going to go ahead and read. Resolution number 22-130, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring May 15th through May 21, 2022 as National Public Works Week in Pasco County and encouraging all citizens to support public works activities this week and throughout this year. Whereas, Public Works personnel focus on providing infrastructure services that are vitally important to creating sustainable and resilient communities in Pasco County. And whereas Public Works infrastructure and services could not be provided without the dedicated service of the county's Public Works professionals, these professionals include maintenance workers, equipment operators, engineers, support staff, and employees at all managerial levels. And whereas Public Works personnel work to rehabilitate, improve, and maintain the county's transportation network and stormwater infrastructure. And whereas it is important for leaders, workers, and citizens in our county to understand and maintain interest in the importance of Public Works and the various Public Works programs throughout Pasco County. And whereas the Public Works staff in Pasco County are qualified and talented individuals who come together to create a team of dedicated professionals who understand the value their work has to the community. And whereas 2022 marks the 62nd annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. The association wishes to recognize Public Works employees for their substantial contributions to our daily health, safety, and comfort. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares May 15th through May 21st, 2022 as National Public Works Week in Pasco County and encourages all citizens to support public works activities this week and throughout the year. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting the 17th day of May 2022.
Move approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Well, hello. Nothing's out there getting done today. No, just joking. We're glad you're here. And boy, you're very important to our citizens in Pasco County. I mean, people are affected by the work you do every day, so glad you're here.
Madam Chair?
Yeah, Commissioner Mariano.
I just want to say, back in 2004, we had the 4 hurricanes, and I was sitting watching these things go and kind of going out there, looking at what was going on, and just thought we needed to do better. And I want to say, from where we were then to where we are now has just been amazing.
Yep.
I mean, from being on the news time after time with flooding at Ironbark, Jasmine Lakes, Timber Oaks, all over the place has been, it was painful to see it, and it was painful to go through the process, but I'll tell you what a joy it is for those people that are in those neighborhoods that now don't flood. Coastal flooding is going to happen with storm surge, et cetera. Certain events will go, but all the way from Tropical Storm Debbie, when we had fixed that Leisure Lane area, we used to flood out all the time. It was dry as a bone that night. To the people at Timber Oaks, Jasmine, I'm going to tell you, they are so thankful. The improvements coming up with Holiday Hills, Sea Pines coming. What you guys have done to this community has been nothing but phenomenal. And I know, Mike, you picked a lot of good leaders, as I'm looking at them right here. You guys have been phenomenal in the trenches. The work you do for our cleanups is incredible as well. So I'm going to say you guys make a difference every day in these lives of the citizens of Pasco County. So I want to thank you for all that.
And I would echo that, too. I don't think I've had a constituent with water in the house in a couple of years, so I'm going to knock on wood as we approach the next rainy season. But I know everyone's appreciative of the work you do. Commissioner Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, and thank you, each and every one of you. I mean, you guys are really like the heart of Pasco County. I mean, you're out there every day. I'll tell a story back long before I was a county commissioner. I moved to Pasco County in 2007. It's probably 2 years after I moved to Pasco County. And on a block where I live, there was an issue where things weren't, let's put it this way, things weren't moving through the pipes very well, if you get my drift, right? But I went out there and I was talking to some of the people in Public Works, and just, at that time I go, wow, man, these are dedicated people, just great individuals that wanted to take care of the situation. And just the conversations I had with the folks, again, this was before I was even elected, and then when I became elected, I started going around. I would stop my car or truck every once in a while and chat with people, and most people didn't even know who I was because I was just first elected and stuff. But I just always got a sense of pride from everything each and every one of you guys did, and I appreciate it. I know the citizens of Pasco County appreciate it. I mean, you get a lot of you guys and gals are out there in the heat of the day, and while we're in here in an office setting, you're out there in the rain and in the heat and dealing with all this. And so, again, thank you all so very much. We really appreciate everything you do. So, thank you.
All right, I think this is Commissioner. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner.
I would like to say thank you for everything that you do, and everyone's always keeping me up to speed, and I enjoy getting the phone calls from citizens, oh, what's going on with this project or that project? And so when I see the funding coming in, and then from legislature, and then to see the projects being completed and everything being carried out and followed through, it's really exciting to see. So thank you for everything that you do.
Madam Chair, one more thought before I go down there. And just to say, recently, we did the project over on Tower Drive, and that road used to flood all the time, and when the new Craft Life Brewery come in there. I was kind of out there with those guys, and we looked. I see canals here, canals there. Put a plan together, and I got a text message after it was completed, before all the asphalt was down, and a lady texted me, and she said, for the first time in over 20 years, after a storm event, I can use my road. Thank you very much. So that's the type of work you guys are doing, so thank you very much.
All right. Commissioner Mariano will go down. I think there's too many for others to go down. We'll just stay up here.
Yeah, just everyone come on and move around the front.
Yeah.
This might be the biggest group we've ever had.
Might be.
Is this the whole department, or are there more?
It's every county employee.
No, they said there's still more.
I know. Some are out working. Have them come up here. I don't care. Who cares? Have them come up on the
Well,
side.
they want to.
They want to. Hey, why don't some of you guys come up these steps and stand up here too
Yeah.
with us? Because there's no way you're all gonna fit.
No.
There we go. Come up here. What's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you.
Push the chairs back, or?
Yeah, let's push these chairs back. Flags. All right, there we go. Squeeze on in.
There we go.
Well, maybe some that go on the other side too. Right there. There we go.
Everyone's scared of me.
Yeah, some of you guys come around and go on that
Somebody
side.
can go the other
Go
side
ahead.
too. There we go. So we all fit.
We're almost ready. Hang on, guys. You can scoot that chair out of the way if you need to.
Yeah, pull it
Pull
back.
the chairs out.
Don't want the chair in front of you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, everybody, right here. I have you all. Thank you. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
How many R's do we have?
Todd.
Firefighters Memorial Weekend.
Okay. So we'll work with
We can do that one in May next year.
Okay, we are going to move on to
We
the.
got one more.
Oh, we have another one?
We have one more.
All right, Commissioner Fitzpatrick, I put an X on it. Okay,
Did you put an X on mine?
I did. I X'd you out already.
What's that?
Like, oh, we're all done.
They're
All right.
gone.
Go ahead. We got to keep.
Okay. Is anyone here? The next resolution is in regards to Peace Officers Memorial Day. If you're here, please step to the podium.
No one's going to be left. But Chuck and Kelly.
Oh, here we come. We had to get through the crowd.
Yeah.
Welcome, gentlemen. I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Okay. Resolution number 22-133, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week of May 15th through May 21st, 2022 as Police Week in Pasco County. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed Public Law 87-726, which is 36 U.S.C. 136, which authorized the President to proclaim May 15th of every year as Police Officers Memorial Day in honor of the federal, state, and local officers who have been killed, disabled, and otherwise injured in the line of duty. This resolution also authorized the President to designate the week in which Peace Officers Memorial Day falls as National Police Week. And whereas as all federal, state, and local police officers, sheriffs, and law enforcement officers across the United States serve with valor, dignity, and integrity. And whereas among their many duties, law enforcement officers are charged with pursuing justice for all individuals and always acting with fidelity to the constitutional and civil rights of the public. And whereas for generations, brave men and women throughout Pasco County have answered the call to serve and protect our communities. Our law enforcement officers embody the courage and honor that represent the best of Pasco County. And whereas in moments of danger and desperation, the first people we turn to are law enforcement officers. These often unsung heroes risk their lives so that they can live in peace and security. And whereas law enforcement officers endure long shifts in dangerous and unpredictable circumstances, however, our law enforcement officers are able to demonstrate remarkable self-control when operating under extreme pressure. Above all, Pasco County local law enforcement officers maintain the highest levels of professionalism, and whereas law enforcement officers often navigate complex, challenging situations while being exposed to some of the worst scenarios anyone could dare to imagine, scenarios to which most citizens have the privilege of turning a blind eye. And whereas we all owe respect and gratitude to all of Pasco County's law enforcement, these men and women work tirelessly to protect us while putting their lives on the line to maintain and defend civil order in our community. And whereas law enforcement officers who wear the badge are selfless public servants who put themselves in harm's way to keep us safe and deserve our support and appreciation. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week of May 15th through May 21st as Police Week in Pasco County. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 17th day of May 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes. Beginning in 1982, a gathering of the survivors and supporters of law enforcement, the National Memorial Service honors peace officers that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Decades later, known as Police Week, has grown to include cities, counties, and state law enforcement officers around the nation. During this week, we honor those that have fallen or are permanently harmed in the line of duty. I commend all here today in Pasco County and through the great state of Florida for putting the public safety ahead of your own. We pray God will keep you safe while you perform your tasks and your duties. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. And do you have something to take down there?
Yes.
Well, we appreciate your service to the community for sure. And do you guys want to go down or do you want to stay up here?
There's 4 people, we can get on it. It's only 4. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. You are welcome to address the board.
Oh, yes.
Jumped the gun on that
If
one.
you want to. You don't have to.
Cyrus Robinson, Chief, Port Richey Police Department. On behalf of the men and women of the Port Richey Police Department, I'd like to thank the commission for this recognition. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you very much. All right.
Anyone else?
Okay, we have 3 commissioners coming down. I like the patch. The patch is beautiful.
Sideways, slimmer.
Oh.
There we go.
You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on, I gotta do a few more. Everybody's eyes need to be open. One more, I'm sorry. All right.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You don't want to touch my hand. But thank you very much. Okay. Now we are on to the consent agenda. And we have the following items. C11 by Attorney Stein Snyder for pull and revise. C17, Andrew Baxter, pull and revise. C18, Andrew Baxter, pull and revise. We are not going to withdraw, I crossed it out, I think C25.
26.
It was, oh, 26, okay, sorry, I scribbled over it. We're withdrawing C38 by Margaret Smith, Mike Carbala, C49, pull and discuss. Jason Mickle, C51, withdraw. Marcy Esberg, C52, pull and revise. And Commissioner Moore, AC 124, pull and discuss. Are there any other items you'd like to see pulled from the consent agenda? I'm going to make a comment on one, but I can do that under discussion. Okay, seeing that, I'll take a motion.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I forgot to do discussion. I'm just really glad to see those openings to the Starkey Wilderness Park happen south of the river. So that's on your consent agenda, and it's, my gosh, it's been something we've been working on forever. So glad to see that going through. And those are for the public to access the lower half of the park. Okay, we'll move on to C11.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, we are pulling and revising C11. The account for the transfer in was the wrong account number. And before you, there is a new Munis printout showing the correct account number for outside legal counsel.
Move for approval as revised.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Then we have C17 and C18.
C17, Andrew Baxter, Facilities Management Director. C17 is to update this task order. Exhibit B was not scanned in the system. We have now attached that, which is the fee summary. With that additional documentation, we recommend approval.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank
Same
you.
issue existed on C18. The fee summary was not scanned in. It has now been attached. With that attachment, we now recommend approval.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. We are on to C38. That's a withdrawal. C49 is also a withdrawal. C51.
C49 is a pull and discuss.
Oh, I'm sorry. Skipped right over you.
Go back and check my numbers.
No, I had Bob's pulled in with you.
Thank you. Mike Carbala, Assistant County Administrator for Public Infrastructure. I'm here to present to you today Mr. David Allen, P.E., for confirmation as our new Utilities Director. The concept of Utilities Department is rather new to Pasco County. Probably we created the department about 3 years ago with the advent of the Public Infrastructure Branch. Before that, the Utilities Director position kind of rolled up to the ACA level since it was a branch function. But with the expansion of those duties, it was necessary to create a Utilities Department. Mr. Rob Marin faithfully served in that position in a couple of years and decided he had some other career goals, and so that position is vacated. We conducted a national search, and I'm happy again that Mr. Allen is here to join us. He has over 30 years of local government and utility operations and public works experience, most recently as an assistant city manager with the City County of Broomfield. Before that, public works and utility director and utility positions with Los Angeles, City of Anaheim, among others. And he's spent the past 15 years of his career more in the executive leadership level. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Colorado State University, as well as a Master of Science in Water Resources from University of Southern California. I'm excited personally to have him lead this nearly 550 men and women department in our county that provides essential services to our citizens. And so with that, I present to you Mr. Allen to perhaps come and say a couple words.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commission members. I'm just really excited about the opportunity to come here to Pasco County. My wife and I were looking for an opportunity to relocate from Colorado to Florida. Our daughter's going to be moving out here this coming summer, and so this was just a great opportunity. I got the opportunity to meet with a lot of the staff through the interview process, and I'm looking forward to working with them and then also working with each of you more closely once I come on board. So thanks very much.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Welcome.
Oh, yeah, I hope you can
You're
find
official.
a place to live. Good luck. Okay, then we have Jason. Is Jason still here? Is that a
That's the withdrawal.
Oh, withdrawal,
51.
sorry.
Marcy.
C51.
Okay, Marcy.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Marcy Esper, Director of Community Development. Item C52 is to spend funding with our State Housing Initiative Partnership to purchase 5 units of affordable rental housing with our partner ACE Opportunities. And the purchase price is $375,000. And the contract, as well as the memo, the agenda memo, was revised to $405,000 to include closing costs.
Wonderful.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Quick question. Marcy, where are these located?
Yeah, I'm trying to look.
They're right by Walmart on the west side of 19, south of Walmart in Port Richey.
Okay, so those apartments are in the back there?
Yeah, they're duplexes.
Duplex, okay. Very
Oh,
good.
yeah, some of them, okay, I know exactly where that is.
Good pricing.
All right, so that's wonderful. I'll take a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. Wonderful. Commissioner Moore, AC 124.
I think Mr. Baxter's going to come up for that one.
And on all our firefighters left. Well, we have one.
Yeah, Andrea, if you don't mind, Mr. Baxter, just highlight what the new training burn tower is for the fire rescue.
Absolutely.
The importance of it.
And Andrew Baxter, Facilities Management Director, for the record. So this agenda item is to replace the training burn tower
Nice.
that was purchased in
But I can't.
2006. The average lifespan of a burn tower is about 10 years, so it's due for replacement. And we are going to be replacing the entire burn tower out at the location. And it's over a $500,000 purchase to upgrade and update the entire burn tower out there, which enables the firefighters to be able to train at that location for many more years to come.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Move for approval.
Well, I have
Go
a
ahead.
question, because the memo was confusing to me, because it has this statement: in November 2022, Pasco County Fire Rescue will need to undergo a state inspection. Well, let me go to the next paragraph. The construction of a new training center with the burn tower, funded by the general obligation bond, is delayed due to COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain shortages, inflation, and other causes. It is currently expected that the existing training center will remain operational on a full-time basis for at least 10 years. So the tower is separate from this comment?
That comment, that specific paragraph, is talking about part of the bond referendum was to whatever we were able to have at the end of the bond program, we were planning to build an entire new training complex out near the jail. This burn tower is at our existing complex up in Shady Hills. And so that is in reference to the new training center, and there would be a burn tower at that new location as well. But based on the market escalations that we're seeing for the construction of all the new and replacement fire stations, we're reevaluating that entire plan, and this gives us time to do that by replacing this existing tower at the existing Shady Hills Training Center.
Okay, and the county attorney just told me they got this out in 2 days. High five.
Yes, they did.
Without touching him, I
Good
give
job.
him a high five. Okay, yeah. Did I get a motion in a second?
Yeah, I made a motion, right?
And we got a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Good news. Okay, we are now on to the Rs. I've lost my script. Okay, let's move on to the first R. And Commissioner Oakley is not here. But this is a R58, a presentation by Chuck. A lot of public works stuff today, so you're here on the right day, right?
Yes, ma'am. There was quite a few people. I thought they were here to see this presentation. Not so. That's great. I just want to thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the board for having me today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chuck Carden. I'm the general manager for Tampa Bay Water. And Tampa Bay Water is your regional wholesale water provider. Tampa Bay Water was created by the member governments about 25 years. Next year will be our 25th anniversary. Yes. And we are the sole and exclusive drinking water provider for the Tampa Bay region. The local government's decision to create Tampa Bay Water back in 1998 is one reason that our economy and our environment has thrived for the past 25 years. Water fuels our economy, and we built a diversified and interconnected system that supplied the region for more than 2 decades in a very environmentally sound manner. And currently, this is what our sources look like. There are 3 of them on the graph, as you see. Groundwater, seawater, we desalt it, and our river water. Currently, we're running about 188 million gallons a day to serve our customers. And 25 years ago, this pie graph looked quite different. It was 100% groundwater, as you may know up here in...
Oh, yeah. Pasco County groundwater.
And right now, these 3 sources serve enough water and treatment capacity to meet the region's needs for about the next 7 years. And that'll keep our economy thriving, but as the population grows, we need more water. These are the current demands of the 6 member governments, and as you can see, Pasco County, the second set of bars, is growing quite a bit. Hillsborough County as well, but in Pasco County, you're taking about 35 million gallons a day. And just to put that in perspective, I worked for Pasco County a long time ago. 30 years ago, those numbers were 17 million for Pasco. I can still remember it. So you've doubled it in the 30 years since then. Right now, we're working on bringing on new sources by 2028 to meet the growing needs. And since 2018, we've been studying 3 new water supply options. And they've been in feasibility studies to see which one we could select next. The first one is a new groundwater well field in southern Hillsborough County, and it's made possible through aquifer recharge credits by Hillsborough County, where they would inject treated reclaimed water on the coast and allow us to withdraw drinking water, fresh drinking water inland about 5 miles in southern Hillsborough County. The next project is expanding our surface water treatment plant capacity. We have a plant currently in the Brandon area that's 120 million gallons a day. We've already increased it once back in 2010, and so this would be the next round, increasing it by another 20 million gallons a day. And the third option that we're looking at is expanding the desal facility down there in Apollo Beach next to the Big Bend Power Station. It currently does, it can do up to 25 million gallons a day, and this would be an extension to increase that, yielding all of these projects, except for the groundwater well field, would yield at least 10 million gallons a day. Yesterday, we had our Tampa Bay Water monthly board meeting, as Commissioner Starkey knows very well. The board did vote to withdraw and remove the South Hillsborough County well field at this time during this master water plan cycle. It will be put back in the next cycle, which actually is next year, but currently there's only 2 options left here, the surface water expansion and the desal expansion. So we're concentrating our efforts on these 2 projects to meet our needs for the next supply. We'll talk about the surface water treatment plant expansion first. It has 2 components to it, and that could include expanding the existing plant that I spoke of at its site, or building a new one down by the reservoir, which is in southern Hillsborough County. So that would be a new new surface water treatment plant down there. The capital cost range from 91 million to 146 million, and also in a cost per thousand basis, a life cycle cost. Those costs are $1.44 to $2.31. The next plant, the seawater desal expansion, is very important to our system because it's drought-proof. Currently, we're taking about 16 million gallons a day, and we use that plant during different times of the year in the dry season, which is currently where we're at. This facility could be expanded to provide another 10 million gallons a day, but it is a very highly, a lot of equipment, mechanical facility, and it's got a much higher capital cost, as you see there, $310 million to $365 million, and that cost per thousand is about $8.56. So as I mentioned just now, the cost in my overviews, cost is not the only factor that we are looking at as we select the next project or a combination of the projects. We are also considering environmental sustainability and reliability. Under each of these headings, there is a lot of detailed criteria under them. For example, cost includes capital cost, operations and maintenance, life cycle cost, and whether the project can be phased. Environmental stewardship includes permitting, carbon footprint, and public acceptance. And reliability includes resiliency, technology, risk factors, all that go into the project to make it fit into our existing system. And here's the schedule that we talked about yesterday. We had a presentation from our system engineer. So over the next several months, we will be discussing these project concepts with your utility directors. Mr. Carbala and his staff, his new utility director. We will be also talking to the public and also to our board. We have moved up the schedule a little bit from the news that I just gave you. We were trying to have the board select in the late months of this year, maybe in October through December. But we believe now that we're down to the 2 project concepts, we will be available to recommend something by this August for the Tampa Bay Water Board. And that concludes my brief presentation for you. I would be happy to take any questions.
Madam Chair, I got a question.
Sure.
You were talking about the cost per 1,000 gallons earlier, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So currently, if you're pulling out of the well fields in Pasco County, what is the cost per 1,000 gallons?
I generally give that answer. It's been asked quite a bit for the 3 sources. 1, 2,
Crossbar, Cypress, and Starkey.
Yes, they're all combined as 10 well fields in a consolidated permit, and groundwater is generally in the $1 range.
$1?
Yes, in the $1. There's change on there. I just in that give you a realm. $2 for surface water and $4 to $5 for the desal.
Okay, so approximately $1 per 1,000 gallons in the Pasco County well fields.
Generally groundwater. Taking and treating groundwater is a lot easier, let's say, than the other 2 sources.
Okay. Is there, you're having to expand because obviously the growth in the region.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, it was only Pasco County pulling out of the well fields in Pasco County. Is there enough water to satisfy the need of the citizens in Pasco County in those well fields for the next 30 years, 50 years?
If you didn't have the other 5 members taking in the water, that permit for the groundwater is 90 million gallons a day in that area. There's a couple well fields in Hillsborough County, but yes, I would generally say you've got a lot of groundwater if you had just Pasco alone with the permit like that.
Okay, I know I'm going back in history a little bit, but so $1 per 1,000 for the groundwater, the cost. If you expand, we're looking up to possibly over $8 per gallon.
We're not doing that
For the
desal plant.
desal plant, yeah.
No,
I
we're
gotcha.
not doing that.
Okay.
It's 5 times more expensive.
Could you go, I know your other slide stated up to, what was that number? If you don't mind going back a little further. Okay, there we go. Or the one for surface water treatment, yes, we know that. But your other options were, besides the desal,
there was a groundwater well field in southern Hillsborough County.
But you stated that
it's been removed for consideration because of the credits. We could not come to an agreement with Hillsborough County on the cost of the credits.
Yeah.
So because of possibly others not wanting to play ball, the cost for Pasco County citizens, even though the majority of the water, or all the water, can be taken care of for Pasco County citizens through our own well fields,
well,
we're possibly going to pay more because other people don't want to get in the game.
Commissioner Moore, you have to remember that some of those well fields aren't owned by us. The only one owned by Pasco is it Starkey? Crossbar and Albar is Pinellas County.
Well, I'm aware of that. That's a
Yeah.
whole other story.
That's kind of a crazy thing when you can buy land in another county and take their water.
That was 1998, prior to
Yeah.
1998. All
Right.
the members had their own well fields. They sold them all to Tampa Bay Water, so.
Right, I remember.
No member government owns any of the well fields.
Well, and I know we don't, but I was using it as an example of this water is coming out of Pasco County. Let's just be honest.
Can I add to that?
Yeah,
We
please go ahead.
also, the Hillsborough River, I say this at many Tampa Bay Water Board meetings, that's Pasco County. That's Pasco County water as well, that Hillsborough, City of Tampa takes out of the Hillsborough River.
Are you pulling out of the barge, or not the barge, the bypass canal?
Yes, sir.
You are pulling out of the bypass canal. Okay, pretty regularly. I mean, it's a steady source of water.
It's primarily during the wet season, and we have a reservoir down south that holds 15 billion gallons. So when it's raining, we have so much water we can't use it all. We put it in the reservoir, and therefore we take it out during the dry season when we can't pull it out of the bypass canal. And so we use the surface water all year, but we only use the bypass canal portion of the year.
So if another county, I'm not picking on any other counties, but if another county, again, doesn't want to get in the game, they're allowed to say no. What can we do legislatively, if anything, or Mr. Steinsnyder, legally to force people's hands, if need be?
Well, first, you're not going to like this, but first thing I got to tell you is water is a state resource.
I understand.
So the water underlying Pasco County is not Pasco County's water.
And I know that. I understand
Okay.
that fully. But we're hearing statements that other counties don't want to participate in allowing, you stated earlier that, I mean, right, that they said no to a well field in the southern part of the county.
They said no to the credit. We could
The
not
credit.
agree on the credit. They didn't
Okay.
say no to the well field. They
Okay,
actually
sorry,
loved
but the credits, they didn't want to give up the credits. Correct?
Correct.
Uh-huh.
So it's a contractual relationship between the multiple counties. So you have rights under your contract that could be explored. I have not been personally involved in any of these conversations, but my guess, having been in water for my entire career, is that this is a combination of a regulatory issue with SwiftMud and a proprietary issue, for lack of a better term, of the individual utilities that make up Tampa Bay Water. And so I would imagine that some exploration could be made. I mean, the reason that they can't permit the South Hillsborough well field without the credits is because SwiftMud doesn't like new groundwater wells, period. Because of saltwater intrusion. And so it's that dynamic package of you have multiple, listen, in the 70s, all these counties were at each other's throats. That's why West Coast Regional Water Supply was formed, which was the predecessor to Tampa Bay Water.
Right.
So there's politics, there's law, there's a lot of things that have to go into.
So it might behoove us, I'm just having a conversation here, to maybe talk to legislators to get involved in this process now.
So,
Because we don't want our ratepayers to have to pay more because people aren't willing to or wanting to give up credits to allow us to use that groundwater, which will continue to keep the costs down versus having to make major investments in infrastructure and such to pull.
I think our Carbala wants to say something.
Yeah. Cool.
It was just more of a general statement. Mr. Steinsnyder is correct. It's complicated, right? Tampa Bay Water was created by legislative action, if I remember correctly. We are a party to a master water supply contract, whereby all the member governments essentially give our rights. You'll hear Chuck use the term unequivocal obligation to provide water, which is true. That's actually been a bit of a boon for us in Pasco County since the water wars. Now, we are post-water war, 25 years later, of course.
Right.
But having that has been important. And so the answer is complicated. Know this, that Tampa Bay Water and our staffs and all the other utility staffs, we meet frequently, monthly, sometimes even more frequently. I've had more conversations with Chuck in the past month, probably, than I have, because we look at these issues and we look at them through the same lens that you do, making sure that we are trying to get the best deal for our ratepayers.
Right.
Whatever our options and alternatives are under the master water supply contract, that's what we will continue to explore. And I think we need to for regional cooperation. But I understand what you're saying,
Right.
and we do
we
think
have an
that way.
option now, but people are willing to give up the credits to make it happen. Maybe we need to take this to another level.
Well, let me add something, and I don't know if Ralph wants to jump in on this, but last year there was legislation that is going to, that requires some of these governments to deal with their discharge. And I think that, and maybe I'm going to oversimplify this, like I said, Tampa Bay Water is a left side brain thing. I'm really more of a right side brain thing, so I struggle a little bit, but so I'll do it in my English, my simplified manner. So we have a discussion coming. We've had this discussion a little bit this year, but member governments are making reclaimed water. Reclaimed water is like a commodity.
Right.
And how that is dealt with in the future is the big question, and that is why Hillsborough is reluctant, am I right, to give up their reclaimed water, because they see it as a commodity, and they are holding their maybe hands close to their vest. But do you want to answer that one?
No, I completely agree with you, Commissioner. I think the future in this state in the next 5, 10, 15 years will be, what are we going to do with reclaimed water? And will that go to something we've said in the industry for 50 years is direct potable reuse? And that presents some interesting challenges in the context of the master water supply contract. So the engagements and policies of Tampa Bay Water for this region in the future, in the next 5 years, I think are going to be of critical importance to have those discussions.
Well, that's what, Madam Chair.
Yep.
Exactly what you did, working with SwiftMud at a 4G, right? That's what's going on there.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
I mean,
that
Pasco
can be potable
County.
water.
Yeah, Pasco County. I'm very proud of what we've done in Pasco County. Actually, you heard Mr. Mickle mention it before. We were recognized as one of the leaders in the district when it comes to reclaimed water reuse. I would argue to say that Pasco County has offset new water supply for Tampa Bay Water at the cost of Pasco County and developers and our ratepayers to actually offset. But we look at that as we had reasons for doing that in the past. Quite honestly, but those are benefits that are derived, and believe me, those will be discussed as part of a broader policy discussion in the future.
Yeah.
We need to look. Well, unfortunately, I only have a few months left, but maybe we'll work on a bill.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that would be things in the works.
I just wanted to, follow up with Mr. Cabala. We were talking about reclaimed water connected to this project. Tampa Bay Water does not have any authority over reclaimed water. The member governments all retained that in 1998. So this is about reclaimed water credits. So the Hillsborough County is holding on to those in the long term is what we're talking about. So otherwise, you say that they're not going to give us the credits. It's the reclaimed water that they own and they can do with, except for one exception. They cannot turn that into potable drinking water according to our agreement, our interlocal agreement.
Yeah.
They have to work through Tampa Bay Water to do that. And we are looking at whether reclaimed water, as Mike was saying, and I think you were saying, Commissioner Starkey, the Senate Bill 64, where you're having to deal with some of your disposal, partnering with Tampa Bay Water on a future potable water project. And we will be including that in our next update of the long-term master water plan reclaim projects. We will be coming around to the members to see what they would want to do with the reclaimed project working with us. They have the reclaimed water, and we're the drinking water provider. And we will work together to bring up future projects using reclaimed water.
Yep. Did you want to add something? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, but I think it makes our selection for this year pretty easy, Chuck. I don't think there'll be any big drama when we pick our next project.
No, I believe we heard that discussion yesterday. The surface water treatment plant, there was a lot of discussion being the next project, but that'll take us through 2028, and then the next selection, we need water in 2033, 2034, and that's where I believe reclaimed water may have a bigger role in the next selection after that.
Yeah. So, and I'm really proud of Tampa Bay Water and this region and the way we've tackled the water. I always point to it when I'm at FAC meetings, when they're talking about setting up new water boards in the state, that I said, just look at Tampa Bay Water and look at the example that we've set here. So I think it's really incredible, the foresight of our people, Senator Latval and others, Commissioner Hildebrand, that went before us, and we'll solve it.
It is a successful regional solution.
Yeah.
To the problem that you all know about. The wetlands and the lakes are devastated. Certain areas, especially in Pasco, certain members had well fields up here. They gave those up in order to recover, and we reduced the groundwater pumping from 158 million gallons a day back in the day to 90 million gallons a day.
So just to be clear, you bought the wellheads, but you didn't buy the land.
But yes, around each of the wells, there's about 2 acres that we purchased. The rest of the land generally belongs to the district. So we own the well fields ourselves. So there's no single member government still owns, I hear Pinellas and Crossbar, that used to be their well field. They don't own that. Tampa Bay Water does.
Well,
okay.
they own
Pinellas,
all of the
Pinellas
acreage
County
around
owns
it.
Crossbar.
Yes.
They don't own the wellheads in Crossbar.
Correct.
Because we have a lawsuit with them. So we're aware.
Well, the permit is in Tampa Bay Water's name.
Permit is in Tampa Bay Water's name. And so, I know there's some notion, some of the members think if things go, a different direction, they want to go back to the old day, they would take their old well fields back. That's not how it would do. You now, if that happened and Tampa Bay Water was dissolved, there's 6 members that have a stake in each of the wells by how much water they took. And that is another, when you're paying the unitary rate, the member's only paying the portion of water that they take. So a growing area is going to be getting a higher cost than an area that's not growing so much. So it was well thought out by the originators of the contract on how it would work and growth going forward.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll see you up here again maybe next year or the year after. You should
I'm trying to do it every twice a year. So
Excellent.
You may see me late in the fall.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thanks, Chuck. All right, next we have Kelly Miller-Funk. My numbers here. Is that right?
Yes, ours 59. Good morning.
R59. We have a time certain at 11:45, so.
Yes.
Okay.
This should be brief. Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Kelly Funk with the Pasco County Administration. Excuse me. I'm here to talk to you today about the West Market area, formerly known as the Harbors. If you remember, back in 2021, the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council developed a plan for the West Market. The commissioners believe that someone other than just the planning department was needed to put all the stakeholders, departments, and agencies together for a workable plan of the West Market area. I was brought into county administration at the beginning of this year to be the conduit of the citizens and the internal team. The goal is to obtain actionable items from the West Market Action Committee so that citizens have an elevated voice and the team works in a unified way. This is the West Market. It is consisted of 12 districts, It covers over 3 commissioner districts. As you can see, we've got current population statistics from the 2020 census. We go from Arapika to Sunwest Hill to Hudson, Gulfview, Embassy River, Central Spring, Elfers, and then Anclote East and Anclote West. You can see that the river districts and the embassy districts have the highest population, and they did as well in 2010. However, we got an increase of population of about 28,784 people. So it's a lot of people on the west side. It's a lot of people that we service in the county. So this is citizens' concerns from the West Market. These came from our listening sessions that I've held with the citizens and our first meeting from the WMAC. As you can see, one of our biggest concerns is the homeless camps and mostly on absentee landowner properties. A lot of difficulty there getting it through with the landowner. We have a lack of affordable and workforce housing. We are also fighting against the slum and blight ordinances that were placed last year under SB 60, which does not allow anonymous calls anymore. So we have a need for pocket parks and connectivity, especially to the Anclote River in the Elfers and the Anclote East districts, and a cry for quality of life improvements such as more walkable communities, sidewalks, lighting, and safety. Challenges in the West Market are very clear when you look at these pictures. Many, many departments are included to solve just this issue.
And Kelly,
Not to mention,
so this
excuse me.
picture was taken
Ma'am,
last month?
It was taken last month.
And this is off of State Road 54?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
There are many other agencies that are also needed just to help the people who have been living on this site. And I do need to interject just here too. I had opportunity to travel with Commissioner Mariano, and we toured some different types of sites, ones that are actually taking over buildings now, where they will go in and turn on the electricity and the water and set up shop in an absent landowner building. This is just a few of the departments that I've worked with so far. About 17 of the county departments and 6+ major stakeholders that have come to the table already to volunteer their services. Huge shout out to code enforcement and community development. They have both been working tirelessly with me to try and get to some of these issues. My role here as the project specialist is to facilitate the interaction of all these departments and stakeholders to create the actionable items and solutions to these issues. So the West Market Action Committee is comprised of volunteers that live here and work here in the West Market. They're community leaders of not-for-profit organizations, HOAs, civic associations, business owners, mental health, real estate, Department of Health, and the Sheriff's Office. They have to have completed or are enrolled in the Pasco Citizens Academy. We hold our meetings right now between the Hudson and the Centennial Park libraries. They are alternating on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of the month at 3 p.m. They are open to the public. Your assistants and aides have already attended a few and are encouraged to continue. And I will be bringing you back a quarterly report when you're here on the west side. So this is the highest calls of service right now. This is what's been going on this year. When your office gets a phone call or code enforcement gets a phone call, because of SB 60, we can't remain anonymous anymore, so it generates what's considered a code sweep. So code sweeps were currently conducted earlier this year in the Hudson and the Anclote East areas, and right now they're concentrating on the Embassy and the Elfers districts. These will be where some of the planning department is working in the historical departments or the historical part of the Elfers, and new sidewalks and improvements and such are also happening. So we set up a new map. The harbors map isn't really indicative of what's happening at this time, so we've changed it around a little bit. It will show all 12 districts.
It's going to have an overlay layer of project pipeline, all the roads and sidewalks, the trails, the blueways and the boat ramps, the Go Pasco bus routes, and capital improvement projects are coming soon. They may even already be on there right now. I know he was working on that yesterday. So I look to you if you have any questions or direction.
Does anyone have any questions? I have comments.
Madam
Go
Chair?
ahead, Councilor Mario.
I got a couple of pictures to show you too. Kelly, this is a business. Matter of fact, Harry from Local Reps is here today. Where we were over in Leisure Lane, there's an area right on US, this is right on US 19, an old Aaron's Furniture Place. And take a look at, there's activity going on in the back side of this here.
Is this where we cut down all the trees and stuff in their back?
This is an area, but this is right on US 19. This is an area up beside the Local Reps business that's taken over the old Midas building from years ago. So look at all the stuff that's right there. Go ahead and take the next couple of pictures.
Oh, God.
See more and more stuff there?
What is circled in on? I can't tell what that is. That's a person?
Yeah, you can see its head.
Yes, that's a woman.
Oh, we can't talk from
Just
there.
illustrate that it's an active site.
Okay.
People are on a daily basis.
Well, you can't, it's a public comment, so.
Yeah, that's okay. Kelly, you.
Yeah,
you
Harry
can-
was trying to make it here for public comment.
You
but
want him
he
to come
just
to the
missed it.
comment? You want him to come to the microphone, ma'am?
No, it's okay. We get what you're showing.
So show the next picture, I think tells you even more.
Because we have
I mean,
3
all the trash there. So they're coming from US 19, they're going in the back, not only this side here, but on the other side. I don't know if you have the other pictures from Leisure Lane as well. It shows where we cleaned out the backside of Leisure Lane on First Aisle. They actually come in. I had some pictures taken from Tower Drive, looking across the water, across Scuba West, and you can see all the burnt-out pine trees that are there. So it tells you how close to businesses, as well as homes that are out there, where the fires were going on, that the firefighters had to go out there. So it's a problem of health, safety going on, and as everyone remembers from, littering is illegal, zoning violation is letting anyone use to camp on their property is illegal. If you leave any unlawful solid waste, it's an unlawful act. Use of public sewers are required, so you can't dispose of your treatment anything but a toilet. Accumulated debris in the open burning is permitted, is prohibited. So all these violations are going on and on and on. And Kelly, I thank you for coming out there, taking a look at what was going on, to have a little bit of perspective that you had down in Holiday to see this up here. I've got an email from just a lady that called me on this when the fires were going on. I just had a conversation with Bert. He owns a vacant lot on First Aisle South, meaning the total lot at the very end is on Bear Creek. He showed us help up in February. Although he is very concerned about the after effects of the trash left behind, his bigger concern is how do we stop it? How do we stop the homeless cluster between US 19 and First Aisle? Their trespassing and drug use is a great concern to him. He's willing to go to clean up his land once again. He, as a landowner, feels a victim of all this. How many times do you clean up and post no trespassing signs and have the homeless just do it over and over again? This has been going on for at least 10 years. Scott Koniger lost close to $100,000 on his fish farm due to vandalism. Bert showed us the area the day to clean up. Bert has a knowledge about the area. He's hearing impaired and talking on the phone is challenging. He would like to speak to you if he could, if he can help. And they thank us for all the help we're trying to do. But it is a problem that we've got to address. Talking to Pat Phillips, one thing we can do is if we do see a violation, Pat looked at the law that was passed, Senate Bill 60, and it says that a commissioner can actually put a complaint in. So we can go back to that scenario. But again, for this thing here, we need to find a way to go in there, get the stuff cleaned up and keep it out. Maybe we look at laws where if you do have violations like this, we make you remove invasive plants, which make it easier to camp in there. Let them go clear out their lots. Maybe we need to go put a fencing up there if need be. But maybe, Sally, if you want to talk to this, if there's some way we can strengthen our own code team to go out and take care of these issues. I mean, we've got some great people on there. Do you have any recommendations how we can go get this cleaned up and gone?
All right, I do have a time certain.
Yep.
So we may have to continue this till after lunch. But
Commissioner Sally Sherman, Assistant County Administrator,
Development Services. Please know that we are looking, Commissioner, as you know, at the laws and regulations in which we can operate under, and we will continue to do that and bring more focus to, you know, some of the issues you brought out in some emails that were corresponding yesterday. So we will continue to explore and see how we can affect a change in this area. It is a great concern for all parties involved.
I did want to suggest as we go through our budget, and I can't recall if I brought this up in my budget meeting, but we had talked about maybe a couple of code enforcement officers that were dedicated to commercial versus residential. Might help, maybe. But I don't want Kelly's work to be only, you know, dealing with this, so this is a big issue. And but we'll talk about this more. I did see in that email that discussion about the contract with the landowners expires every year. I want to see if we can't talk with the sheriff's office about maybe getting that to 3 years. Maybe one day we'll talk about the rental registry again and other things. But Kelly, I'm just so glad we have this effort going. You know, Mary Helen, when she was here, was working on this, but it's really too big for one department. The issue of lifting up the West Harbors is got to be a collaboration of our citizens and all the different departments that need to be involved. So really glad for your work.
Madam Chair, just a comment I know we have a time certain. Quick comment. I may talk about this later. I may not, depending on how our day goes. But we talk about code enforcement. You know, we're not always, and this is my opinion, we're not always using code enforcement properly. And if we focus on things like this, what you just saw there, and using code enforcement for that versus what I consider some silly things sometimes we're using code enforcement for, and having to put the sheriff's office out there in certain situations, I don't think they should be in either. We can obviously focus more on issues just like this. We got to be more focused and not utilize code enforcement or the sheriff's office in ways where that could be taken care of more internally or with staff and other departments itself, in my
And
opinion.
the citizens
So-
are ready, Commissioner. The citizens are ready. They've stepped up, and we've got a nice cross-section of people who are, you know, from different viewpoints. You know, ones that are willing to help the people who are living there and ones who are willing to eliminate the junk and debris. So it's really a tremendous effort on this end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, one quick question.
Yep.
Especially because Kelly's here, in case she doesn't make it back then for later on today, which I will want to discuss this further. Mr. Steinschneider, these trespass agreements, right now they're written as a one-year contract that expires, and then they have a conversation about redoing again, which I think is a waste of time. It should just be something that we put it in place, it stays in for no trespass agreement. The only change would be if the person reconsiders and doesn't want to do it, or if the property
Opt out
sells.
rather than
Or opt out,
opt in.
let them opt out afterward, or if they sell the property, obviously it stops. Is there a way that we, as the code enforcement, can go out there and do these trespass agreements without having the sheriff's involvement?
No.
No?
Okay, so
I don't believe you can.
we got to move on,
Okay.
but this is
All right, so
a-
Kelly, I'm
a
going
big
to
discussion.
bring it up later on
Yeah.
in my committee report, so if you want
That'd
to
be
hang out
fine.
for that afterward.
That'll be later today.
Okay.
All right, now we have Jerome with Career Source, and we added this on at the last minute because we wanted to make sure you're aware of an effort that's going on and the implications, in my mind, to Pasco County. So, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone here today. Appreciate the time. Let me make sure I got this works right. So I'm here to talk about the REACH Act, the Reimagining Education and Career Help Act that passed in June of last year by the Florida legislature. That act is really to drive the improvement of the workforce development system through increased access and accountability while aligning services at the state level and local level, but also potentially realigning the workforce development areas. So, let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. Okay. So, the way the law is written, there's actually two things that basically could occur. The law actually states that Department of Economic Opportunity and Career Source Florida are going to complete a waiver to the federal government asking that Career Source Florida basically takes over the role of the local workforce boards. So the possibility is they could create another state agency to oversee the federal dollars that would be coming here for workforce development. That includes all the services, obviously, that CareerSource provides, everything from reemployment services, cash assistance, food stamps, Workforce Investment Opportunity Act, training funds, et cetera. So that's sort of one end of it. And then in the law, it states, or they will reduce the number of workforce regions. So in essence, sort of combining regions. What you see here in front of you is just some of the population statistics, and some of the things that have been talked about is maybe combining Pasco-Hernando region with either Pinellas, Hillsborough, or Pinellas and Hillsborough, or even more areas. So that's about 3.3 million people in these three regions, okay? Pasco has about 25, Pasco-Hernando has about 25% of the population. And in essence, what you see across sort of these larger regions of government or pseudo-government is that there's sort of an equitable appointment to those boards based on population. So in essence, right now, at the way we are structured, you all and the Hernando County Commission appoint the board members, appoint the people locally based on federal requirements who needs to be on the board. This would mean potentially that you could have only 25% of the people on the board being appointed, thus sort of diminishing your authority and your view, your vision of what should happen here in Pasco County. So I want to bring that to your attention. How do things sort of look now? What is it that the state is wanting to accomplish? Where do they want to go, and why are they doing this? Currently there are 24 workforce regions in the state of Florida. We are aligned directly with the community college districts, and that's based on how the federal law says. The federal law states that you should be aligned with education, economic development, and employment services, which is what we oversee. And they're looking to, the state is, they've engaged Ernst & Young actually, they are looking to engage local stakeholders, look at things such as commuter patterns, and also focus on sort of an economy of scale when they look at how they could redesign the system. Now,
Quick question, Madam Chair?
Yeah.
So engage local stakeholders.
Yes, sir.
Would that be like commissioners maybe?
It should be, yes, sir.
Has anybody been contacted? Because I haven't been contacted
About this?
about this, other than from
That's
Jerome.
why I have Jerome here today.
No, I'm glad, and I'm delighted what you've done with your letter too, we'll talk
Yeah.
about, but
Yeah.
I haven't been contacted to my feelings, if anyone else has.
By that, no, by the state aid, no.
No, and I'm on the board and I haven't been contacted either.
Yeah.
So the state has enlisted Ernst & Young to sort of oversee this process. And as you can see, they have a pretty aggressive timeline. Actually, as of June 9th, just a few weeks away, Ernst & Young and CareerSource Florida are going to present to the CareerSource Florida Board their preliminary findings. Now, again, they have not spoken with any county commissioners from where you stand across the state, and you all have the fiscal responsibility for those federal dollars that come in for oversight. They have not spoken with education at the local level, local business, economic development, or the citizens of the county. So I have fortunately been one of 3 people at the local level participating in the statewide meetings. I was selected to be on the board, sort of representing mid-sized regions across the state. And there's been a lot of talk about systems. There are problems with the computer systems. Everyone's heard of what happened with the unemployment system when the pandemic hit, how it crashed. There's talks about sort of streamlining services, working on, higher level communication, data sharing agreements, and so forth. So maybe that's what they're going to talk about with their preliminary findings, but we don't even really know. But they're going to have some preliminary findings without speaking with the local stakeholders yet, so that should be fairly interesting. By December, they're supposed to have a decision, so hopefully between now and December, they have had a chance to speak with you all as well as other stakeholders locally and come up with a decision, and then June, that should actually say June 23, they should have this implemented. Whatever that plan may be, whatever, if it's a state's going to take over control of everything, or if they're going to combine regions, or maybe they'll combine some regions and not the other, whatever it will may be, a lot of conjecture, but they'll have that ready to go and implemented by June of next year.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
One other question too, you got a line on economies of scale does not always mean efficiency.
Yes.
In our conversation, one thing that struck me was you operated about administrative costs about 6%, but others are at 11%?
Yes, sir. According to the Department of Economic Opportunities annual review of how all the workforce boards operate, Pasco Hernando Workforce Board operates on an overall administrative rate of 6%. Our partner areas, which could possibly be combined with, work at 11 to 12%. So, government has always been known to be efficient. No offense to anybody, but especially larger groups, larger organizations. They currently are not doing that, and a lot of that is they have a different service delivery model than we do here. One of the first things I did when I came here was I got rid of our sort of ivory tower management office and put us working in the one-stop centers. They still have nice big offices on Eisenhower and other locations, and there's different overhead, there's different costs. Our board, which you all appointed, did not have that philosophy. They said, make sure the dollars go to the people in the community and the businesses. So we are fairly efficient with what we do.
So are you done with your presentation?
No,
Okay.
no, ma'am, but I'm open for
All right,
comments.
keep going. You are done?
No, I'm
Okay,
not. No.
keep going, and then we'll talk
Okay.
about it. Okay.
So, talking about, what do they want to do? Where do they want to go? Hopefully, they are going to want to model some of the best areas in the state. What are the best workforce development states in the country? As you can see here, Virginia and North Carolina, as rated by siteselection.com, are pretty much 1 and 2 in the southeast. Okay, now they are smaller states, about half the population of Florida currently, but they have more workforce boards per capita than we do. They focus very much at the local level. So that's not apples to apples. What about the large states? Texas, who is traditionally looked at as one of the best, if not the best, workforce development state, large states, has 28 workforce boards. They average about 1 million people per workforce region because they focus locally. And the funny thing is, Florida modeled theirs after Texas. And now they're looking to change it. However, Texas is still looked at sort of the pinnacle of what we should be doing. Why? Frankly, various reasons. Some may have to do with the way programs were managed or mismanaged in the past. But I think that's very interesting. Florida is currently 3rd in the southeast when it comes to that. And this is an independent ranking, so what are they looking at? Where are they going to go? We're not sure. It seems like we're sort of already structured in the way that we should be structured. Talking about maintaining that sort of local focus, again, staying with the smaller regions. Some of the issues and some things we look at is currently we partner, and we're supposed to be partner because we partner with economic development and employment partner very closely. We sit at the table with them when it comes to recruiting and retaining business. We provide services as well as some funding. Now, if you went to a larger model and you had competing economic development agencies, and again, hypothetical, but if you had a board that maybe was only 25% made up of people appointed from here and you were competing, maybe the project would be supported more for a different area. So the resources we have to help with that would be diminished. You would be sort of trying to figure out how that would work. And I thought that's a sort of a key point for what it is we do with our partners. You could also look at just sort of the statistics of the workforce. What does the current workforce look like and what's it going to look like? What do they want? Currently, about 38% of the workforce is Gen Z and millennials. By 2028, not even 6 full years away, you're looking at about 58% of the workforce fitting into that. What do they value? They value mobility and flexibility. They value that above salary and benefits, okay? This is common knowledge for the workforce development and what we're looking at with the generational statistics. What Pasco has done and created here, the live here, work here, play here model, focuses on that. The investment that you have already put towards this economy and what you are doing here stays with that model. Those individuals do not want to follow commuter patterns and drive an hour to an hour and a half to go get a job someplace else. The only people that would benefit, honestly, are those businesses in other areas. It does not focus on the businesses right here. And the statistics show that. That's where the workforce is now. That's where it's going. You look at things like the Great Resignation everyone's heard about. You look at the gig economy, more and more people are working remotely. And the pandemic escalated that, really just as quickly as you can believe. 2018, prior pandemic, 52% of the world's workforce worked remotely at least 1 day a week.
Jerome?
I just had a statement.
Yeah, so Commissioner Moore has to leave you.
I have a budget meeting, so,
Okay, sorry.
It's not your fault. It's just 12, but can I make a comment?
Yeah, because I want a motion.
Yeah,
And we have a letter.
just a quick comment, I want to make the motion too. I agree 1,000% with you. We should not consolidate. I'll use T-BARTA as an example. Because of the decisions made, Chairman Starkey sits on the T-BARTA board. That board was diluted with Pasco County representation. We're the small person on the totem pole, even though we're the fastest growing county in the region. You made a great comment earlier about Moffett, for example. You showed some other companies too. We're going to have something bigger than the West Shore Business District, possibly bigger than downtown Tampa when it comes to the amount of jobs here in Pasco County. We need you guys. We need you to ourselves. We know, unfortunately, what's happened recently with Career Source Hillsborough, Career Source Pinellas. We don't need to be involved in that. I do not want to merge with them by any means. If for some reason they think this is a good decision, why is EY in charge of this? They're an accounting firm. I don't know how they're involved in workforce innovation. You think they bring somebody in that actually understands workforce innovation and is involved in that besides EY, which I'm not knocking EY, but they're a great popular accounting firm. If they're going to audit somebody, go audit Pinellas and Hillsborough. Not us. So I'll make the motion, and I will say this. If for some reason they think it's a good idea to do this, I'll make a motion to pull any damn funding from it as well, because we're not going to merge with them. So
Hopefully,
yeah,
we'll have
so-
to say.
Well, that's if not, we'll create our own. If not, we'll pull our funding and we'll create our own. Well, we will figure it out.
That's federal money flowing down. so
Well, then they
we need to
we'll
stop
figure it
this.
out.
They do need the support, and technically at the federal level, that it should go through the county
County?
commission.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
you do have a say, at least. At least you have a voice if
Let
you
me,
want to use
let
it.
me give you another example why I think this is a bad idea. So we have AmSkills.
Yeah.
We're not approved as a, what's the correct term?
Training provider.
We're not approved as a training provider in Pinellas or Hillsborough yet, because they view us as competition to their technical college, which is crazy because we don't do exactly what they do. We feed into their colleges, but I just think we have such a good thing going here, and I just think we'll really be harmed if we join with these other areas. If they want to join back together, but we have greater oversight, greater control in the system that we
We're
have.
good.
And we shouldn't be punished because other people may have not had their eyes on the ball.
Motion, move for
And
approval
should we-
letter.
and sh-
Second, all right, I gotta go.
And should we bring in the Florida Association of Counties to help maybe oversee some of this?
Well, we'll certainly talk about it at our meeting.
Thank
But,
you.
so with that, what I want to do is have your, so is the motion to approve this letter?
Yeah, motion approved letter. I think Mariano.
Okay,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, and I will sign the letter.
Thank you.
All right, we're adjourned, we'll be back at 1:30.